I think you want to introduce yourself to
I will.
as you always do, indeed.
Good afternoon, Dr. Manamela.
Afternoon, Council.
My name's Adila Hassim, and I'm one of the legal representatives for the families of the deceased that are present here today. I'd like to begin with understanding, Dr. Manamela, what your duties were as a director of mental health. Can you describe to us what your duties were?
My duties was providing strategic support to the institution and the community health services that provide mental health care and ensuring quality of services.
What does strategic support mean?
It means that you are at the planning level of that service.
You plan.
And then and monitor and ensure there's monitoring and evaluation.
You plan, you manage, you monitor, and you ensure there's monitoring.
Yes.
That continues.
Yes.
And what is the salary level of a director in the department?
Sure. I think we can get that salary level is level 30. It's level 30.
And how senior does that make a director?
Like I said yesterday, you are at the fourth line of.
So you're quite senior.
You are there. I was not quite senior.
What was your salary? What is your salary?
I cannot disclose my salary.
You're a public servant, and
Yes.
your salary is paid by, amongst others, people who sit in this room. I think
Yes.
it's okay to disclose your salary.
Yes, but I think you can find my salary from the HR in the department.
You don't know what your salary is.
I am not in a position to answer that question.
Because you don't know, because you don't want to.
I've been out of the department the whole of this year. So the HR people will be able to tell you of the salary level of the director.
Have you been suspended?
Yes, you are.
Are you on paid suspension?
Yes.
So you've been drawing a salary since the beginning of the year.
That's
while
correct.
you're on suspension.
That's correct.
And I'm asking you, what is that amount that you are drawing?
Yes, I cannot disclose that because I only get what I get, but there is a level that is indicated, which when you prepare this document, you can also get it from the department.
Okay. I take your answer, which is you refuse to answer, but we will find out. You registered,
You know that you may not refuse to answer a question unless you have a lawful ground that you may have to tell me.
My lawful ground is that I'm suspended. I don't know the level of the salary that I get. I just know the money that is deposited. So that's my reason. So every salary has got level. We can be a director, but at a certain salary level. So I cannot say anything about that. And
okay, I'm just.
And
Council will continue to ask the question.
And I'm giving latitude to find that from the department.
No.
Because they know very well.
No.
They will look at my person.
If you are sworn in
okay.
to answer a question, unless there is a valid lawful reason, you can go and look at the law. You're obliged to answer the question.
If I know exactly the question, Justice, I'll
put the
answer.
question again.
Put the exact question.
Sorry, maybe you misunderstood me. I wasn't asking at what level your salary is pegged at currently and so on. I'm asking you, how much are you earning? What is the amount? What is your salary? What do you take home every month?
I won't answer that one.
Why
I won't
won't
divulge what I'm taking home.
Why not?
I won't. I'm not feeling comfortable with that.
Do you accept that you are a public servant?
Yes, I am. But I am a public servant.
And you're still being paid while you've been on suspension?
That's correct.
And you've been on suspension. When were you placed on suspension?
From the time March, I think from February, when the report was
Is it
out.
March or is it February?
It's February,
February.
yes.
So you've been taking a salary since February. You've confirmed that.
That's correct.
And you won't tell us what your salary is.
That's correct.
I'll tell you what your salary is perhaps after the lunch adjournment.
We will tell you.
You're registered as a professional nurse, is that correct?
That's correct.
Are you registered with the South African Nursing Council?
That's correct.
And do you understand the scope of your responsibilities as a nurse?
That's correct.
And you've spoken to us, you've answered a little earlier about the fact that you are not obliged to obey an unlawful order. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And if there's a conflict between an order from a superior and your own ethical obligation to respect the rights and interests of patients, which one would you prioritize?
The patient's one.
You would prioritize the patients.
That's
And would you
correct.
say that you did so in the course of this project?
Can I explain this course of the project?
Okay, let me rephrase the question.
No, because
Hello?
there is miscommunication then.
Again,
I'm here as the director,
Sorry,
not
Doctor-
because I'm a nurse.
Dr. Manamela, just give me one opportunity. Sivumelene angithi? Sithe sihamba sonke angithi sivumelene. So we will not, I know how you feel, but we can't have witnesses heckled and shouted down. We can't do our work in that circumstance. I ask you again, a little mumble in your breath may do, but the witness deserves all the opportunity and respect. Please, counsel.
Thank you, Justice. My question is, what I asked you is, I asked you if there's a conflict between an order from a superior and the rights and interests of the patients, which would you prioritize? And you said you'd prioritize the rights and interests of the patients.
That's correct.
And my next question to you was, do you think you prioritize the rights and interests of the patients in the course of this project?
Related to my profession. That's what you are asking.
I'm asking you,
Because it's
did you prioritize, not related to you, Dr. Manamela, as a person, did you prioritize the rights and interests of the patients?
The earlier question, let me answer it. I'll answer it two ways. The first question that I need this proceeding to understand is that I am where I am functioning, earning the salary as a manager, not as a nurse, as a person who has advantage of having advanced nursing in psychiatry. I'm working because of my master's in public health. So I'm at that level, not at the level of making decision or taking care of patient. But the
But
patient
sorry, I
is
have to
still
interrupt you
my
because you
priority.
misunderstand and you're not actually helping us.
Okay.
You're right, you are there as a director, you're there as a public official. Do you agree that you are bound by the Constitution?
Yes, I agree.
So under the Constitution, do you not have a duty to respect and protect the rights of the patients?
I've got the duty.
Yes. So can you now answer my question? My question was, for the third time, do you think that you respected and protected the rights of the patients during this project?
I think I did.
And you think you did as you sit here today?
Yes.
So why would 143 people have died?
I don't know because I don't have postmortem, but I can give you things that you must look at. I think I gave the the former counsel who was asking me, there are a lot of variables that you need to look at when a patient died.
No. No,
Oh,
we
you
don't need to go
that.
there.
Okay,
No.
but from
we don't
my,
need to go there because we've got a lot of information as to
Okay.
how the patients died, and we're going to get to that
Yes.
as we
From
continue.
my
But if I can
function-
just then move on, you said that you're the director of mental health, but you say the decision to terminate the contract was a collective decision. Is that correct?
was the decision that was made by the leadership of the department, and the work, the implementation was a collective decision.
It was a collective decision.
A collective work.
You were not responsible for the implementation.
I was part of the implementation team.
And you were not responsible for the payment to the NGOs? The
No, I
payment of the
was.
subsidies?
No,
Wasn't your job?
no,
It was a job of the finance department?
yes.
And it was not your responsibility to visit the NGOs, is that correct?
It was part of my responsibility.
But you
to
did
visit.
not visit the NGOs, isn't
I
that
did
so?
visit those that I can visit, not all of them.
How many did you visit?
I did visit Kitakalani, Anani. You mean before placement, ne?
Yes.
I visited Takalani, I visited Anani, I visited Kalineni.
Sorry, the third one?
Kalinen also.
Kalinin.
Kalinen, the bed that was supposed to be the NGO.
Sorry, by Kalinin are you talking about, because
the
Kalinin
100 beds that we were.
So
we were
you're talking about
planning.
Anka and Siabadinga?
That was before they were there. Isn't that we were talking before placement?
Yes.
Yes.
So what was there that you were visiting? I asked you which NGOs you visited.
Yes, it's because the NGO assessment include even infrastructure, include a lot of things. So that's why we visited Kalinen, the renovation site.
Kalinin,
Then
and what else?
I visited Bupilong. I think I visited. I think the very same Shama, Takalani.
Shama, yes.
Yeah, these are the NGO I can remember, but I know that after that I also visited some of the NGO. I don't have exact number of how many of them I visited.
You've mentioned 5. You've mentioned Kalinin, which is actually a state facility. And other than Kalinin, you've mentioned 4 out of the 27. So earlier in your testimony, you said it was the placement teams that were responsible. Do you still hold that view?
The placement team that was responsible for assessment. Let me get the answer well, the question well.
Yes.
Yes, there was an NGO team that is from the district, and then we developed NGO marathon team that will include ourselves and the engineer and those team members who were available.
So they were responsible for assessing the NGOs?
They visited most of the NGOs.
Okay. So that wasn't your responsibility, it was theirs?
It was
Yes.
theirs.
And the service level agreements, you say, were not signed from your office?
That's correct, Council.
Who did that? Whose responsibility was that?
Every district chief director will sign. The process say every district director will sign. Chief director will sign the service level agreement.
It was not your responsibility?
No, Council.
And you too did not give the instruction to discharge patients from Kalinin into the NGOs?
No, Council.
You don't take responsibility for that. In your earlier testimony on Monday, Justice Moseneke put a question to you about whether you were in charge of the implementation of the plan. And you said no. You said it was a group effort. You said your unit was in charge.
I was a deputy.
And then you said, let me finish, and then I'll put the question to you. And then you said to the justice, why should it be a person? Do you recall that?
I don't recall it.
I'm reading to you from your transcript. Those were your words. Do you still agree with that? You can tell me if you've changed your mind.
I think the that was the project mandate to ensure that termination goes smooth. There were certain duties that will be allocated from my office and certain duties that will be allocated from the other offices.
Yes, but your question was why should it be a person who is in charge of implementation? When I began, I asked you what your responsibilities were as a director, and you used the words planning, implementation, execution, and monitoring. Those were the words you used.
Planning, ensuring information, ensuring monitoring and evaluation,
Yes.
ensuring quality services.
Good. That's what we would want out of the director. Were you the only director of mental health during the transfer of the mental health care users?
That's correct, Council.
So what were you responsible for?
My responsibility was to support the decisions that were taken by the executive and also support the project manager in the light of being the director for mental health services, so that I can continuously guiding and supporting where there is a need.
So you were not responsible for implementation?
Like I said, the project team were responsible for implementation.
Who is the person who is responsible? Who would you say was responsible?
The termination as it was given, the project team had to be given function for implementation. So,
And who gave the project team functions?
from the meeting, the previous councillor just indicated to me what was said in one meeting. So that's where we're getting the direction and guidance.
But as director of mental health, and this being a project that is specific to mental health care users, you did not have direct responsibility for any one thing.
That is why I said yesterday I started with the task team.
No, not that is why. Start with the question. Answer the question.
There were
It may
some.
require an explanation or a reason, but this is a direct question. Let's give it a direct answer.
Yeah, but I cannot say
Could
I
you repeat
didn't
the
have
question?
any
I'll
responsibility.
repeat the question. My question is, as the director of mental health unit, in relation to a project that directly involved mental health care users, are you saying that you did not bear direct responsibility for anything in this project?
I didn't say that.
What did you bear direct responsibility for?
Like I told you that I started with the planning team. I was part of the project. I delegated my staff. We did the patient profiling. We met with the life testimony, asked the board to investigate the death that took place, and also asked the board to assist in assessing the patient. The function can be all, I can go all. And also ensuring that post-evaluation...
So you bore direct responsibility for all of that?
No, I'm just saying I was ensuring, like my
question was, for what functions did you bear a direct responsibility? You've told us a lot about project teams and task teams and meetings and minutes and delegations and placement teams and NGO teams. I'm not asking any more about those issues of teams. I'm asking you what responsibilities you bore as the director, in your capacity as a director.
But I don't understand, Council. That's what I said. What I didn't even indicate is that I also had to attend to the court cases.
We'll come to the court cases.
Yes, I'm just saying that because
Can you
maybe I
answer
don't get it what you really
what I'm asking?
looking
You're
for.
not
Maybe I
understanding.
don't get it.
What functions were you responsible for? That we can say, if this went wrong, Dr. Manamela, you must answer for it.
I said...
Which function?
I was responsible at the beginning to commence the team, to communicate the senior decision to my team, to support the project leader, to present report of progress to the MEC, and to engage the family as I was also engaging them.
So if anything went wrong in relation to those things, we can say to you, Dr. Manamela, you are responsible.
I won't agree. Partly I can agree, but I won't fully agree because it was not an individual. If you ask me of mental health directorate only, then I will agree fully. But if you ask me in terms of project, I won't
I'm
fully
asking
agree.
you for your individual responsibility.
In terms of project or in terms of mental health services.
I'm asking you in relation to this particular project, the transfer of mental health care users. What did you have individual responsibility, individual and direct responsibility for?
Individual responsibility was to ensure that things are running smooth.
Okay, thank you.
I don't hear you say that the patients are taken care of, that they get the quality care that they deserve,
I think I mentioned it when
that
she
their
asked.
lives are protected. Does that include your responsibility?
It includes the quality care. It is included there, ensuring that the patient, mental health care users are well taken care of in the province.
Indeed so,
That is
ma'am.
ensuring that.
None of our jobs, like you, I'm a public servant, and I was for 15 years. None of our jobs are about us. They are about those we serve
I know,
and to
Council.
ensure their well-being. My job was to ensure that South Africans enjoy justice under our constitution. And if it didn't happen where I worked, I knew I was on the hook. I am responsible. That's what Council is trying to ask you. What were your responsibilities in relation to this project? When think about it during lunchtime, when we come back, it will be helpful to us to understand what you know to be on the hook for. What are you in charge of? What is it which goes wrong and we go only one place, to you, whoever you might employ? We are adjourned till 2:30.